All right. Hello, 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 and good evening, everyone. My name is Davonne Reaves. I am the founder of Investor and the Vaughn Group and Stay Black Experience and all that fun stuff. Okay. And so tonight we are going to be talking about buying hotels. So we're going to have an introduction. We're going to talk about my story. And then we're going to talk about what makes a hotel ownership, what makes a hotel successful. And then we are going to talk about
you hiring everybody?
And then pathways to hotel ownership. Hey, Andrew. All right, and then we'll leave some time for Q&A. All right, so day one, we are going to talk about today we're going to talk about pathways to hotel ownership. Day two, tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to find and analyze deals with Tommy Bayer. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. On day three, we're going to have Andre Williams, and he is going to walk through preserving your wealth, right? So he's a licensed financial advisor, and he's just going to walk you with different strategies to preserve your wealth. Because once you start, building your real estate portfolio, the goal is to accumulate wealth. The goal is to accumulate money, right? And through accumulating assets. And so he's going to talk about the different ways that, how the wealthy people, how they're able to take advantage of investing in real estate. So that is on day three. And day four, so tomorrow, which is March 5th, so that's what's Tommy. March 6th is going to be Andre Williams.
Yeah, I don't need
March 7th is going to be how to find and analyze apartments. So there we go. All right. So and then we'll leave some time for Q&A. Okay. All right. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Davonne Reaves, the hotel queen, a hotel diva. I've been in the industry for 15 years. Started off as a front desk agent, navigated my way from the front desk to hotel ownership. Throughout my career, managed $1 billion in assets, author of a book, How to Buy a Hotel. Usually I have it handy. Oh, here it is. There we go. How to Buy a Hotel. Let's see, the screen's blurred. Let me see. So that's my book, How to Buy a Hotel. Have 30 million in assets under management or in my portfolio. I feel like I've been featured in everything but Essence. I've been awarded Georgia State University 40 under 40, the International Society Hospitality Consultant Emerging Leader. I was actually the first Black to do that. Top 100 influential hospitality leaders and several other awards. So just to let you know that you are in great hands. So I always like to do a little trivia, just to see if y'all be paying attention. I like to give out stuff. So there are over 59,000 hotels in the United States. And the first one who gets this right will get the complimentary workbook, How to Buy Hotels. They got it's over 100 pages because it includes how to buy a hotel and how to buy apartment complexes as well. So it's a entire workbook. So make sure, put your answers in the chat. First one who gets it right will win. So there are over 59,000 hotels in the United States. How many of those hotels in percentage wise are owned by Black people? Oh, Andre, you got it. I have your contact information, so I'll just send it over. Let's see. Uh-oh, I froze.
No, you didn't. Hmm. 'Cause. 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 'C
Oh, can y'all see me? Uh-oh. It just froze. Yeah. Okay. Can you all see me and hear me? It went out. My apologies. Is it still going? Okay, y'all can hear me? Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. All right. Well, we'll keep it going. Okay. So Andrea won. So I have your contact information, and so I will get you your workbook. It's actually different. So the people, if you purchased this workbook before, you're like, I already have it. Actually, don't. So the people who purchased it for the challenge, like this past week, then it's the same. But Andrea, I'll go ahead and send it to you. And so it'll include a lot of the stuff you'll know, Andre, because you've invested in hotels. Some of the terminologies and paths will make sense, but we also have information on there on how to buy, how to analyze, how to find and buy an apartment complex or multifamily. So we're going to keep going, even though I don't have my slides. Let's see if I can bring them back up. I know this stuff like from the back of my hand, so I may not even need to do it. So anyway, we'll keep going. We'll keep this thing going. All right. So as far as just a little bit more information about myself. Oh, I'm like, what is that behind me? That's my son. He put some stuff up. So you see some artwork in the back. Um, so just a little bit more information about me for those who don't know who I am. I started off as a front desk agent at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. And then I not only did I start as a front desk agent from the Hyatt Regency Atlanta, but I took a non-paid internship in to learn more about hotel consulting. And I took so that's where I learned about development. I did feasibility studies. So I really learned about the ownership side, which is completely different than operations. So if you ever worked in a hotel or even been a general manager, just working above, that's what they call it, above property, is completely different. And so I was doing that for about 10 years, for about 2 years. So I worked there in the afternoon. And then I worked there in the morning and worked at the Hyatt in the afternoon to pay my bills. It was free. And I fast forward a couple months, they liked me. I stayed on. And then I worked there for 2 years. And then I worked there for 2 years and I moved to Boston and I worked at a larger a larger firm, pretty much doing the same thing, but it was just on a larger scale. So I just worked for different properties. And then in 2017 is when I founded the Davonne Group. And let's see, keep this going so I can show you some slides. Then not only in 2017, so that way you can see the hotels. 2020 acquired my first hotel. Okay, there we go. Y'all can see my screen? Okay. Okay, awesome. All right. So this is the Home 2 Suites, which was acquired in 2020 during the pandemic. We bought that for about 8.3 million. That one was I would say lucky. That was nothing but God. We got it at a low interest rate loan. That was during COVID. What happened when we purchased that? This hotel, the seller, he overcommitted, meaning, or he overdeveloped in that area. It's like a complex. I don't know. Anybody ever heard of El Reno? Anybody ever been to El Reno? A little small town. But so the developer, he overdeveloped in that area. It's like 40 minutes outside of Oklahoma City. And so during COVID, everybody know what happened during COVID. I don't have to remind everyone. It wasn't people staying in his hotel. And so since he was over leveraged, he didn't want to give the hotel back to the bank. He kept one and he sold off a lot of other hotels. And so one of them was the Home 2. So we took over the loan, which means the assumable loan, and it was about 4.5% interest. It was a newer hotel. He developed it. It opened in 2017. We acquired it in 2020. So it wasn't a lot of work that needed to be done. Since we assumed the loan, we only needed to put down about 10% down. Again, those type of deals are hard to come by, especially for first-time hotel owners. So I even hate telling that story because people get that stuck in their head, like, oh, that's not my first deal. Don't do that. The second deal, we have some investors in these two. We have the Staybridge Suites that was acquired in 2021. That's 145 rooms. And then we have the Hampton Inn Suites. We acquired that for about 17.8 million. Brought it as a portfolio hotel. And then the Staybridge Suites is in Indianapolis Fishers, which is outside of Indianapolis, which is like 40 minutes outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. So I know there's some folks in Indiana on a call. Hampton Inn Suites is based out of Scottsburg, Indiana, so that's closer to Louisville. That's a Hampton Inn Suites. So it's not, these two properties are both extended stay hotels. So meaning they have not a lot of amenities, not a lot of amenities of full service, but you'll get your breakfast. Some of them you'll get the Staybridge, you'll get the manager's reception. You can pretty much live in these hotels for like a month to a year. That's how they're designed. There's a design for people who want to stay, long because they need to stay for work or for whatever reason. Hampton Inn Suites. And those two, if you're looking to invest or start off, I would say start off in the extended stay sector from a profitability standpoint, because it's not a lot of expenses due to housekeepers not having to clean the rooms every day. Then you have the Hampton Inn. I'm sure everybody's either heard of a Hampton Inn or say to the Hampton Inn. That's probably one of the number one recognizable brand. That's Hampton Inn Suite, so it does have some suites, meaning folks can stay a little bit longer. We just finished a renovation on a Hampton Inn Suites, and then this Staybridge is probably coming up. It's an older hotel, but it was the only hotel in the market that had an indoor pool during COVID. So that's a well-known hotel in that particular in the Fishers market. All right, so this is me when I was a baby. I did not know at that time that I wanted to be a hotel owner. I don't even know how old I was. I need to ask my mom. But I think it was like 2. I don't know. Anyway, so I did not know. I think that's apple juice, but I did not know that I wanted to be a hotel owner. My family, we didn't talk about hotel ownership. I was born in Philly. Think it was some folks in Philly. So I was born in Philly. I moved down to the Atlanta area, Clayton County at 8. So graduated from high school down here, went to Georgia State, and that's when I started working off at while I was in college. I worked at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta, while I attended Georgia State University, and that's where I built relationships and really understand hotels. That's me and my baby, the one you hear. You may hear throughout the presentation. That was at our investors retreat at the Staybridge. And so I wanted to take a picture. He came to actually both investor retreats, one in Indiana and one in Staybridge. So, and he's been on calls. He likes to make himself known. So it's a family fair. So definitely life as a mom. So tonight we're going to be busting some myths. You personally have to have millions of dollars. That is not true. You personally have to be a billionaire. That is not true. And you have to have prior hotel ownership or hotel experience. And that is not true as well. So we're going to talk about that. Some organizations that you should join. First, starting out, NABHOOD stands for the National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers. Their goal is to increase the percentage of Black hotel owners. So they have an annual conference every year. HOA stands for Asian American Hotel Owners Association. That's probably one of the largest hotel owners association in the country. They actually have a conference coming up in April. It's a lot of, so the majority of the hotels are actually owned by Indians. They own probably over like 50 to 60% of the hotels in the United States. And so a lot of them are a part of a HOA. So if you do go to that conference, it's a lot of vendors there. It's a lot of education, and you could connect with other hotel owners, but really meet with a lot of the vendors that you'll need. So when I mean vendors for a hotel, I mean, your linen, your credit card processor, your soaps, like all of those different things that you wouldn't think that you'll need. For everything in a hotel has a vendor. Your paint, like your the paintings on the wall, like literally everything, all the different vendors. They have to be approved by the brands, depending on the brands, but vendors. The Latino Hotel Owners Association, or the Latino Hotels Association, their goal is to increase the percentage of Latino. And the American Hotel Lodging Association, that's one of the larger conferences as well for owners. And that's good. They have a conference. They actually have a lot of events, a lot of free events going on. They're actually going on tour. I spoke at the last one that was in Atlanta, and it was pretty cool. And it's good for you to network and connect with, and they're changing it up because they have some opportunities for first time hotel owners. So that's good for so the conferences for folks who would be interested in attending a conference. The two that I would go to, the first one I would probably go to is NABHOOD because it's smaller and it's more intimate. The other hotels are, the other organizations, they're larger. HOA, they have regional chapters and regional events. So even if you can't make it to the big one that's in April, I'm sure they have something in your region where you can go. The Latino Hotel Association, I'm not sure what their upcoming conference, but they have information as well. And then the American Hotel, that's pretty big. That's a pretty big conference. They're major one. And like I said, they're going on a trade show. They're going around the country. So those are some good organizations for you to join if you're really interested about becoming a hotel owner. Do you know if there are any international organizations? Yeah, CRE, is it called CRE? It's like the Caribbean Hospitality Organization, and they have a conference every year in Miami. Now it's pretty expensive now. So these conferences, these organizations that I just mentioned, they're not that expensive to join. The one I just mentioned, that's expensive. The conference to go every year, it's like $2,000 to $3,000 a year. and it's really high level. They don't break down the educational stuff. So you would need to do a lot of your research before you go there, because they're not going to help you. Like the people who are going to those conferences, they going there to make some deals. They already know, and they got plenty of money. Or they have a very specific project and they're able to execute and they're looking for money. So I just want to make that clear, because I'm noticing that a lot of new people or new hotel owners or investors, or they're trying to get their feet wet, they're going to larger conferences and they're like completely lost, and they're like, I spent like thousands of dollars to come here and I don't know what's going on and nobody's helping me. Because a lot of the major conferences, they're seasoned hoteliers. They own like 20, 50, 60, 100 hotels. Like, so nobody's breaking down what I'm about to break down. It's like, it's insane. Like, some people have been owning hotels longer than I've been alive. And so, and I own 3, and they're like, oh, it's just like, the only reason why I get attention is because I created a platform. So when you own like less than like 20 or 10 hotels, like nobody really pays attention to you. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying that because I don't want you to go to these big conferences and you spend the conferences that I mentioned is a reason why I mentioned those conferences, because I think those are good for first-time hotel owners. They're willing to help, they're willing to educate. You know, you may even find a business partner or investors. Like, these are the conference that I would go to, that I would recommend, because I would just hate for y'all to spend so much money and y'all don't get the support that y'all need, and y'all just trying to close your first deal. Like, this is good for first-time hotel owners. The other ones, they're like, for like, if you haven't gotten your first hotel yet, I don't know if I will go to those hotels, those major conferences. So you can go to CRE, you could do your research, but you can go to NAB. NABHOOD is good because NABHOOD has an international component, and they bring in people from different countries to help with the international component. So you can go to NABHOOD. I would go to NABHOOD before I would go to that one in Miami, because that one in Miami is expensive. You could be a lobby lizard. Some people just go to conferences and they're lobby lizards, meaning you can't go to the actual conference, but you just kind of hang out in the lobby and meet people. But I probably still wouldn't do that unless you really know somebody. So outside of NABHOOD, I'm actually hosting a trip in Belize. It'll be coming out pretty soon. For folks who want to invest internationally in hotels, in Belize, during this summer. For those who are interested, just let me know. And that's a good way to connect. Can I just connect and invest with you? Yeah, sure. Why not? I got a deal. I got a couple deals. Benefits of hotel investing. So tax depreciation, as an investor, you receive K1, you should be able to help, with your, the offset anything. So that's why we say is, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I always recommend that you work with a CPA or financial advisor before you invest, because I'll give you an example. Okay. It's a small group tonight. We're going to keep it real. I'll give you an example. It was an investor who invested in a hotel deal, and they were coming from multifamily or residential. So how many people are coming from the residential side? Let me know. Put it in the chat. Okay. Okay, coming from the rest. So it's different. Well, Andre, you know, it's different, as you can imagine. It's not a quick return, right? It's not quick. So this particular investor invested in a hotel, and it wasn't a quick return, because they were used to investing in residential and it was a quicker return. That's not how it works in hotels. So I just want to be straightforward with anybody on that call. Typically, hotel exit strategy is like 5 to 7 years. They don't really do the refi in 3 years. It just depends, because it's based on how the hotel is performing. If you get the wrong operator in there, you got to get the operator out, which we're doing in our hotels. So it can be different, but you can help with the tax depreciation or the tax benefits, hotel discounts. Sometimes if you're owner or if you invest at a certain level, you get hotel discounts. I love it because it's creating jobs. the diverse income. So those are some of the benefits of investing in a hotel. So what makes a hotel successful? Okay, so you have the location, the brand, and the operator. So the location, it depends on, for example, the hotels that I talked about before, the hotel in El Reno, my hotel in El Reno, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's off a major interstate. So it's off of Route 66. So if somebody wants to travel Route 66, they can stay at our hotel. We probably have one of the nicest hotels in El Reno. As far as it's near like a lot of oil, so we get a lot of oil business that stays for months. The workers that work on oil. The hotel in Indianapolis Fishers in that area. For the folks who's in Atlanta, is like Alpharetta. I don't know how to, or Philly is like, if you're in Philly, it's like King of Prussia. I can't really think any other cities. But just to kind of give you, so location is key, right? So when you travel, you're not traveling like, ooh, I'm going to Bali just to stay at this hotel. Even though you may see something on Instagram, unless it's like a real unique hotel, like somebody built the hotel out of an airplane. That's a little different because it's an attraction. It's not just a hotel, like it's a whole experience. But 9 times out of 10, you're not booking a hotel just you're not traveling just to stay at that hotel. You're traveling, like if you're going to Bali, you're going to Bali to experience Bali, but you want to stay at somewhere nice, right? Unless the hotel is just something like Dubai, like, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to stay at the hotel that Beyonce performed at. It's different, right? But not really, because you're going to Dubai. You just want to stay at a nice hotel. So that's why I say location is important. Brands. So there are actually over 100 different brands. I have it listed in the workbook. We're not gonna talk about it because that's like a whole presentation in itself, and y'all probably get bored with all the different brands. So it's like over 100 different brands. I don't even know them all. I feel like it's a new brand developed every day. Choice. So the hotel. The reason why I put these brands on there because I figured that'll be good for first time hotel owners. Choice has their emerging markets program where they help minorities. They want to increase the percentage of minorities. It's probably one of the oldest programs for minorities. And so it's for women and Black people and veterans who want to invest. And so they give incentives and they help you. I have a student right now who is acquiring a choice property right now. So she was able to take advantage because she joined my program, actually. They have a special program. They have some incentives for people who went through my program. So she's actually acquiring a hotel. She went in a contract and submitted it. And so she's taking advantage. They were able to help her with some stuff. Same thing with another student of mine who actually closed on a choice property. So then we have a Hilton's, like Hampton Inns and Home2 Suites. I think those are good. True, by Hilton, Spark. Like those are good programs. Those are good hotels for first-time hotel owners. Hilton can be a little pricey now. It can be a little expensive with the fees. Like Hilton and Marriott are the top 2 hotel brands in the world. If I ask everybody now in the chat what's their favorite hotel, I already know what it's gonna be. So y'all gonna prove me right. Do me a favor, drop in the chat your favorite hotels. Hilton, I was right. Hilton and Marriott. Ritz is a part of Marriott. So, but Ritz-Carlton, Hilton, Ritz-Carlton, Hilton, and Wyndham. Okay, I was right. Hilton and Marriott. Yes, I always Hilton and Marriott. Then threw in Wyndham real quick. Embassy Suites. Yeah, same thing. Going back and forth. Hilton and Marriott are the top branded hotels, right? Top hotels in the world. IHG's Marriott #1 and Hilton #2. So then you have IHG. They have brands such as like Staybridge Suites, and probably their most profitable would be the Holiday Inn Express and Candlewood Suites. So those type of brands are really good for first-time hotel owners. And then they have the Garner Hotel as well. So those are good for first-time hotel owners. Again, it's not as expensive to get in. You probably can find some for less than $5 million, meaning you could take advantage of the SBA loan, which is a Small Business Association loan. So those are some of the brands that I would look at if you're looking to buy or even invest. Wyndham Hotels, so they have Days Inn, Microtel. They have and they're probably most recognizable, and one of the most profitable would probably be Days Inn and Microtel. And economy hotels perform well because there's not a lot of expenses, right? Meaning you're not really going, you just get in the bed and the bathroom. Like you getting the bare minimum. Like that's it. I don't even know if you're gonna get a smile when you check in. I don't stay on the economy hotels. Owning one would probably be great, but I probably won't stay one because I have expectations and levels of service. I'm not knocking economy, and I'm not even knocking the people that say it economy. It's just that's my preference, right? And so what these brands, if you notice why they have so many different brands, it's because they want to accommodate everybody. So there are some people who love staying at Econo Lodge, but they don't want to stay at Best. They don't want to stay at Ritz-Carlton. It's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own preference. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they just don't like it. Who knows? Whatever works for you, there's a brand for you, right? I never heard of Anderson Ocean Club. Where's that? So Best Western is more of a credit union, and the other hotel, think of the other hotels are banks, and then Best Western is like a credit union, right? So they're more based off the membership model. I'll give you an example. I was looking to buy a hotel in Brunswick. Andre, I don't know if I told you the story. I was looking to buy a hotel in Brunswick, and it was a microtel, but it was a lot of choices and a lot of Wyndham brands on the two exits. And I was like, I want and the owner, he had like 10 hotels. The owner was like, it's crazy. The owner was like, I think you should put a Best Western here because there is not any other Best Westerns. So we were going to put a short stay. Well, Best Western was like, okay, great, because we don't have a lot of presence in the area. And they had to contact, it was another Best Western hotel, like maybe an exit or two away. And the owner, they had to contact the owner first. They got in contact with the owner. The owner said no. So how Best Western works, they have to get the owners of the members' approval. Since that owner said no, I couldn't do a short stay. And it didn't make any sense to do a Choice or a Wyndham because it was so many choices in Wyndham. So it wouldn't have made sense for me to do it. Like it just, and then I didn't want to do a microtel. So, because it was so many other Wyndham properties. So I'm saying that to say if it would have been like a Choice or something or a Wyndham, they would have just gave you another flag because they're more about net unit growth as opposed to Best Western. They just want to, they're more membership focused. So that's just something they give you an idea. So active, passive. So how many people want to be active or passive? I'll give you an example. So active investor, someone that's putting a deal together. So I would be considered an active investor. I have to deal with the investors. I have to deal with the hotel. I have to deal with the management company. I have to deal with the lender. I have to deal with all of this stuff, which is a lot. And the passive investor, you invest, you get your updates, you ask me the questions, you make sure, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to make sure that your investment is taken care of. That's the passive. The passive don't have to deal with the headache. But the active do. So how many people in the chat want to be active? How many people want to be passive? All right, sorry about that. It was weird. My phone had to
Charge.
my laptop had to charge. It was so weird. But anyway, so we have folks that want to be active. We have both. Okay, so we have more active than we do have passive. You know what, Erica? I like that passive and then active. And the reason why that's a good pathway, which we're about to talk about, a good pathway to hotel ownership, because now it's harder to get hotel loans based off of just what happened in COVID. So, for instance, we have some of the Indiana portfolio investors on the call. If they decided to buy a hotel, it would be easier for them than someone who even they have a general manager on their team and they got the money to do it, it may be harder. It won't be as hard for them because they directly invested into two assets, a Hilton property and a Staybridge property. So they will look to, even if it's less than one, it don't matter because they have in the lender's mind, they have hotel experience. So that passive route to an active route is a great way how you can really get that hotel experience on your resume. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some steps. So I have it in the workbook. I want y'all to set a vision, right? Set a vision, set a budget, deadline, determine your pathway, right? So set a vision of, you know, when you want to do it, right? Like your goal is, I saw a lot of people active. So set a vision, think about what you want your first hotel to look like. Think about what is that going to look like? What is it going to do for your family, right? You have to really visualize it and see it, and you have to believe it because that's the only way it's going to work. Set a budget, set a deadline. Like, look, if you look, this all I can afford, then that's the type of hotel you're going to get. I know a lot of people may want to buy a Ritz-Carlton, but the way your budget's set up, you only can get a microtel. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you start off with something, or Days Inn. You start off with something smaller and you build your way up. Then you determine your pathway, right? We're actually going to talk about the different pathways so that way you can see which path you want to start out when you want to become a hotel owner, right? So some ways to invest. We have lines of credit, savings, retirement. You can use the cash value, life insurance, equity, crowdfunding, friends and family. I know some people have pulled their funds together to invest in different opportunities. So that's a way that you can invest. I'm not a financial advisor, so I always say talk to a financial advisor or a CPA on which will be the best step for you. Okay, so let's see, there we go. All right, so the different pathways, you have crowdfunding, so you can invest in crowdfunding. I actually have a crowdfunding platform. Some folks invested. They were able to invest directly into an asset because I was able to connect them to the deal. REITs, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. It's more of a way that you it's like investing in a stock a little bit. The REIT has to distribute 90% of the profit to the investors. So you're getting quarterly dividends based off of how much you invest. Now, that's a little different because you're not investing directly into the assets like you're investing into a fund. So it could be Marriott's, Hyatt's, Hilton. You can invest in as low as $20. Now, I will say, if you come in at $20, don't expect I'm like, you a hotel owner or you a millionaire tomorrow. Like, that's not how this gonna work. I'm not even gonna, I like to say expectations. I don't like to, fabricate stuff. Private investing, you can invest, directly with the owner. And how you find them, and Tommy will talk about that more tomorrow. You have to know hotel owners or get in that space. Hotel syndication or for the active investor. So the first three ways are the passive investment routes, and then you have the hotel syndication route where you're putting a deal together. All right, so let's walk through these pathways. The biggest thing that you want to do is you want to create your investment criteria or investment thesis. I talk about it high level, what kind of hotel. This is really basic. So when you talk to hotel brokers, or you're trying to figure out which path you want to go, this is like really basic questions. I go more into detail in the workbook. So really asking more detailed questions for yourself. Like the workbook more so is for people who really trying to buy. Like what kind of return you looking for? Because it'll make sense tomorrow when you start looking for deals. You like, oh, that's why she said that. Because remember what I said before? It's like 59,000 hotels. So you're gonna get overwhelmed trying to figure out, because it's not like an MLS. And let's just think about it. How many people have bought a house or bought an investment property? Or even an apartment? Like, or invest or rent an apartment. How many people in the chat? Nobody? Okay. I would say I know at least one person that bought a house. Okay, I better say, yeah. Okay, so so remember when you were trying to buy a house, what did the agent or broker say? Where did you want to go? What's your budget? How you gonna pay for how you gonna cover the equity? How many bedrooms you want? How many bathrooms you want? You want a ranch? You remember all them questions they were asking? They were doing that so they can help you find the house that you want, right? So you had to think about like, oh, well, really, I may want this $2 million house, but what my bank account say and what my credit score or maybe my income say, I only get this $300,000 house, right? So you get something based off. Same thing with because hotels is real estate. It's just an operating business sitting on real estate, right? So what kind of hotel? I talked about the different kinds of hotels. You know, do you want to do extended stay, limited service? When do you plan to invest? Going back to that deadline, are you looking to do something next year? Are you looking to do something this year? Are you looking to do something right now? Right? Where do you plan to do it? Do you plan to do something, near you in a different state? Somebody mentioned about international. Why are you investing? Right? Like, why are you doing this? Are you doing this for tax purposes? Are you doing it to, to get dividends or to help with your retirement, to diversify your retirement? Because that's what a lot of people do. They pull funds from their retirement to invest, and to invest in different things. Because hotels, you're not going to look to see it for like 5 to 7 years anyway. Right. So, I wouldn't, if you saving up for a down payment for a house, I wouldn't use that money to invest in a hotel because you're not gonna get it back that fast. Okay. Um, and then how are you gonna invest? So what are you gonna use? What are you gonna do to invest? So those are the things. I'll answer the questions at the end. So what are you gonna do to do that, right? So REITs, high levels, a passive way. There's like 18 different lodging REITs. You go to REIT.com to learn more about the different REITs. You can work with the brokerage firms such as like Fidelity or Robinhood. I have both. You work with a financial advisor. You use Morningstar for research. I have a lot of that information in the workbook. There's even a replay on how to invest in REITs in the workbook for those who want to invest in REITs. The questions that you should ask, and then I have more detailed questions in the workbook as well. Historical performance, portfolio, like, their investment thesis, for my folks who wanted to invest in, like, maybe for the folks who want to invest in Ritz-Carlton, the minimum probably to invest in the Ritz-Carlton is probably like, as a passive investor, it's probably like $1 million or like 250,000. It's like not 25,000 because they need too much money. But with the REIT, let's say you invest in a REIT that has, Ritz-Carltons and Mandarin Orientals and Waldorf Astorias in the portfolio, then you're able to invest into a luxury REIT. So you're not investing directly into the Ritz-Carlton, but at least you're investing in that type of portfolio. So you just have to figure out again. So you start off with your investment thesis first, and then you figure out which pathway and does that REIT align with what you're trying to do? Because you may try to focus on limited service hotels, and if you see a REIT that has nothing but full service hotels, that may not align with what you're trying to do. Crowdfunding. So typically have to be accredited investor. An accredited investor is someone who makes over 200,000 a year, or have a net worth of $1 million or more, excluding their primary residence, right? My platform, you could be a non-accredited investor, but depending on the deal, you may not be able to do it. Vestor, CrowdStreet, Realty Mogul, those are just some different crowdfunding platforms that you can invest in, hotels or other commercial real estate asset classes. You can work with the financial advisor or brokerage firm to help you find some licensed financial advisor probably to help you analyze to see if it makes a good deal or not. So questions to ask, high level. Again, I have more questions in the workbook, but what's the return? Does the ownership group have experience? And what's the minimum to invest, right? And when you gonna get your money back? Here's some more information about Vestor. There's a QR code. Again, we accept both accredited and non-accredited investors can invest. It's a marketplace for commercial investing, and you can just go to vestor.com. Okay, here we go. So private investing, that's if you're working directly with the sponsor. Yeah, that's if you're working directly. Come on, there we go. You're working directly, investing directly into the asset and working directly with the sponsor, and you're not going through a platform. You're just talking directly to the owner. How you find that is going to conferences or If you know someone and know someone, once you start getting into it, you'll probably start meeting other hotel owners. So it's not a lot of Black hotel owners. So it's kind of like more and more people are starting to know each other because more and more people are starting to invest in hotels. So it's easier than it was probably like 10 years ago or 5 years ago now to start investing in hotels because more and more people are owning, which I love, more and more Black people. Sponsor, again, that's the one that's putting a deal together. That's the active. So that's, raising capital, just high level acquisition process. First thing you want to do is develop your investment criteria. You want to assemble the team, meaning, finding a broker, getting a lawyer, getting a consultant if you need it, finding a hotel. So Tommy's going to talk about tomorrow. So I'm not even going to touch that because he's going to spend a whole hour talking about how to find and analyze a deal. Once you analyze it, then you'll submit the offer. If it's accepted, then you go through the due diligence and then the transition phase. Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure that I left some time for Q&A. Definitely stay connected with me if you're not already connected. I'm on Instagram. That's my name, Davonne. I'm on LinkedIn. Go to vestor.com to learn more about any investment opportunities or get on our mailing list. Join the Facebook group, Vestor Academy, if you haven't done so already. So again, I said I was going to leave some time for Q&A. So your homework throughout this is a challenge. So I am going to be challenging you. This is not, I just don't want y'all showing up. I want y'all to get involved, and I really want this challenge to be meaningful for you all. You already took the time, you already made the investment of, even though it was free, you still took the time out of your life to listen about this. So I'm so proud of you all. And I thank you all so much for tuning in and taking the time, especially if this is your first time, just taking the time out of your busy schedule to even listen to this. I appreciate you. So your homework for tonight is I want you to start working on your ownership thesis. I want you to start start working on 300 goals. And I didn't touch on this a lot, but before, I was listening to Steve Harvey one day, and he mentioned if you can't generate 300 goals, then you're not thinking big enough. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. Actually, it's harder than what you think. You don't have to do it all tonight. Just start. Just start working. Just start writing them down. And it can be something like, I want to go to Australia, right? It could be something like, I want to stretch every day. It's whatever works for you, but just start, right? Just start writing it down, and it'll allow your mind to think big. And the reason why I'm saying to do this exercise, because once I did this exercise, I put down that I wanted to buy a hotel. And I started putting other things. Like I said, I wanted to be featured in Black Enterprise, all these different things. I said I wanted to go to Egypt, and I forgot about the list. And so I was going through my phone because I was using Evernote, and I went through the list, and I said, oh my gosh, I accomplished a lot of these different things. I went to Egypt. I was featured on Black Enterprise. I wanted to speak at this conference. I spoke at all these different things. I wanted to buy a hotel, bought a hotel. Didn't think it'd be more than one. You know what I mean? So it just allows you to write down your goals. I'm still, it's been like close to, I'm still adding to my list. I ain't even make it to 300 yet. I'm still adding to it, but it allowed me to think bigger. It really, and it's not something that you have to do tonight or write 300 tonight, but it just allows you to think bigger, right? Because owning a hotel is a lot, right? It's rewarding, but it's a lot. And especially for our community, it's definitely a lot. Some homework. Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be 4. But the homework, you definitely, so it's going to be a dashboard. I'll share the link. Post the badge in the Facebook group to let me know that you started on your hotel thesis. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about how to find, well, Tommy Bayer, he's white. I always say he a part of the cookout. He laughs at me because I talk a lot about, Black hotel owners, and I try to keep as blackety black as I possibly can. But Tommy is the asset manager for my 3 hotels, and he's doing an excellent job. I've been knowing Tommy probably for close to 15 years when we were part of this organization. He knows hotels better than I do. He will be the best person to walk you through how to analyze a deal. He's going to show you how to analyze a deal in about 20 minutes or less. Okay. And so he's going to walk you through how to find a deal, maybe some of the questions to ask. So make sure you are ready. Make sure you have your analyzer ready to go, especially the folks who want to do, especially for folks who want to be an active investor. I definitely recommend that you tune in tomorrow. Okay, so I'll make sure you get access to, you'll get a replay. So the dashboard, the challenge dashboard will include the badges and it will include the replays. So I'll make sure we get that in the chat. And then here's the contact information if you need it. And then there is the homework. And then I'm ready for questions. Oh, somebody said, can I show the slide with the REITs? Okay, go back. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's the slide with the REITs. All right, so now it's time to get to some questions. Okay, it says, I think you mentioned it takes time to make money. What are the returns starting to look like as owner? So that is a great question, and it depends on the type of hotel. And oh, I didn't touch this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this. So the three things that makes a hotel successful is the location, the brand, and the operator. The operator is the most crucial thing. So to answer that question about what would the returns look like, it really depends on the operator. So our hotels, they don't currently have a good operator. I'll say it don't. That's why we're getting rid of them. And that definitely impacted the returns for the hotel and to our investors. And that's the main reason why we're getting that management company out, because they're not doing an excellent job and we're not able to provide the returns that we want to our investors. So you definitely, that's crucial to have. And what I mean by operator, somebody that's managing the day-to-day operations. So whoever the general manager is, if you do bring in a management company, that is crucial. And that will really determine your returns. I'll give you an example. So let's say if you buy a hotel, right? And you bring in a crappy operator, or let's say you hire a general manager that really doesn't have any experience, or they say they got all the experience or whatever, and they never follow up on the guest complaints. The guests don't come back because the hotel's crappy. I'm sure everybody on this call then stayed at a hotel and they like, you couldn't pay me to come back. Like, don't even give me any points, because guess what? I ain't gonna come back. Don't, like, you give me the points, but I'm gonna go somewhere else because I ain't coming back. Everybody done had that experience. And so and then somebody who can't manage the finances. So meaning you making money, but you're not managing expenses. So that means you ordering too many toilet paper. You got too much staff on hand. You know, some owners, they run everything through the business. They Costco membership. They paying it's a lot of hotel owners that have Lexuses. They paying they Lexus car note all through the hotel. So the hotel really ain't that profitable because there's so many expenses. So the returns typically is based off to answer your question, the returns typically is based off the type of hotel. So REITs, not REITs, extended stay hotels, you're looking at 30% from a profit margin. So the returns, hopefully you're looking at like a 20% cash or 20% ROI. The returns vary on those factors that I talked about. So average, we try to look at for like 15 to 20% ROI. The more rooms, depending on the location and the type of hotel. So for my people who want to own a boutique hotel and own a luxury hotel, the returns won't be as high because it's too many expenses, and as an owner, it won't be profitable. So so the economy hotels are cash on cash, meaning you're getting the higher monthly distribution. The distributions will be higher on economy, but when you sell it, the return on equity won't be as high. Does that make sense? So it depends on, it's kind of hard to say this is what it's going to be, because it depends. Like I can't say like if you buying a residential flip and the return going to be 20, because it really depends on the type of hotel. So that's why it's important to figure out which type of hotel you want to invest in. So if you say as an investor, if you tell me I'm looking to make a 20 to 30%, return, then I say you need to look at the economy. Or let's say if you're a cash on cash person. So let's say if you come from the multifamily world and you focus more on the cash flow every month, I would tell you to look at extended stay or economy. And I will tell you the brands to look at. Does that make sense on what the returns? Like, it's so many different factors. I got another question. Did that answer your question? I hope it did. Okay, so then it says, so if you invest a small amount into part ownership, can't you invest more once you get more funds? It depends on the deal, and that's a question that you need to ask when you invest, because sometimes it may not be enough room for you, and then you may have to buy somebody else out, and it may be higher to do that. Okay, I showed this slide with the REITs. It says, what does exactly one thesis consist of? I talked about this The what, when, where, how, who. I talk about it more in the workbook. Gives more of a detailed analysis. Zai, are you on? Are you on? Yeah, can you put the workbook link in the chat so they can purchase the workbook? And that'll explain more of the thesis. The thesis is more so because I see that you're with EXP. My cousin is part of EXP. So that's like if you are you're selling a property to somebody and the questions that you have for them is like, okay, where do you want to buy it? What's your budget? Are you going to be able to put down the equity? What type of property do you want to buy? I see you have commercial. So commercial, there's a lot of different asset classes. So they're like, oh, I just want to buy commercial. You're gonna be like, okay, what kind of commercial? Because it's a lot of different asset classes. So that's what a thesis is. It's just really, it's more of a guide, more of a roadmap to help you determine on what you want to buy. Because it's just too many hotels and it's too many types of hotels. So it's too many different, and it's two different paths. If you want to be a cash flow investor, or if you want to be an equity investor, or if you want to be both. So there's three different paths on which route, meaning the brand or the location, right? Because if you want to buy something in New York, then you got to think about the union, which is going to heavily impact your profit margins because union typically has more expenses. Okay, can you show crowdfunding again? Absolutely. Let me pull up Vesta. Okay, that's Vesta. Hopefully I can see it. Do you have a mastermind where we could join to buy a hotel within 6 to 12 months? Yes, I do. Yes. And if you stay to the end, got a special discount for you. Yes, I had somebody reach out to you. So send me a note because I actually starting to offer one-on-ones. Let me see. And we won't be offering them to everybody. Hey, Amy. Here, send a note here. And so we can get you talking to somebody from the team so they can explain to you. So yes, we do have a mastermind where you can get a hotel. Actually, one of my students, she just finished and she's under contract for a hotel. She actually I connected her with another student and now they're co-GPs together. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So yes, being a part of the mastermind is very helpful. I give you access to a lot of free other events and try to connect you with other like-minded individuals. Can you share my insights on full service hotels? So I actually got my start working in a full service hotel. It is a lot of it's a lot more expensive for full service hotels. And the reason why, because it's complicated with the food and beverage, it's complicated with the meeting space. You have to bring in a third party operator. If you don't have experience, how are you going to get approved by the lender? So that's my insights on full. I personally wouldn't start off with a full service hotel unless you have a lot of money, unless you already, because I have a client right now, they're developing, we just got the budget back, an $80 million hotel. Yeah, $80 million hotel, right? $80 million hotel. And it's their first time owning a hotel, but they have site control of the land. They'll possibly have to partner. The way he's structuring the capital stack, he won't be able, he wouldn't have to put, if he didn't structure a capital stack like how he's doing or working with me, he would probably have to put 40 million down because it's a construction. So typically put 50% down. But brought me on now, how we're structuring the deal, he only has to put half of the 40 million. So only had to put 20 million down as opposed to 40 million. So but he's going to bring in a management company. We're putting a team together. So that's why he's able to do the full, but he's not doing it by himself. He's bringing in a management company that's going to operate the day-to-day operation. So that's my insight on first service. I wouldn't start. He's looking to hold that hotel forever and leave it for his kids. So that's a legacy play. And he's doing different things with the project. So he's going to be able to make money in different ways. So even if it's a recession, he'll still be able to. So I'm not a fan of full service hotels because they attract a lot of when the recession hits, because it's always an economic downturn, and hotels are based off the economic downturn. So when the economy is doing well, what y'all doing? Y'all traveling. Y'all like, what's up? When COVID was like, y'all was like, bump, man, we just gonna have to pray and leave it to God. Y'all was gone. You was like, I'm tired of being in the house, right? You like, what's up? I'm ready to travel. When the economy is down, you like, dang, my travel budget ain't like, it ain't what it's doing. But some people, they just be traveling on their account and they be like, hey, I just brag it back. Right. So you just have different type of people. But the first thing that really gets cut is travel, right? You like, I'd rather have a place to stay than, travel. So that's why I don't focus on full service hotels, because it's so dependent on the economy and it's so many different layers, meaning you have labor, you have a restaurant, especially luxury service hotel. If it's like 3 people staying in a hotel, you're gonna have to have that spot open. Even if they don't use it, you still gonna have to have that spot open. So those are my insights on full service and luxury hotels. I just would not recommend that for first time hotel owners because they're really expensive and it's hard for you to grow your portfolio. Okay, we got a question. How can I purchase the workbook? The workbook is in the chat. The workbook link. Thanks, Zacharias. And she put vested.com. Girl. Shout out to my intern. Go on, girl. You need the one-on-one. Okay, I got you. When is the next retreat? The next retreat is in Belize. You about to be getting the email pretty soon. It's not that many spots. We open it up to the people who went to the international thing and to the people who came to the before, so they get first dibs. But the next retreat is January. So say the date, January 26th through the 30th. Literally just signed the contract for the hotel because we had to change it. Beautiful hotel, because the hotel we picked for was too far out. So this one is better. Beautiful hotel. We're gonna have boat ride. That's Belize. Okay. So folks who want to learn how to invest internationally, we're going to Belize. We're gonna have the Belize tourism board there. We're gonna meet with hotel developers there and the real estate agents. So that's a whole different thing. So that's the next retreat, July 26th to the 30th in Belize. Okay, Gigi says she need one-on-one too. Okay, Gigi. Oh, girl, we gonna get y'all these hotels. Okay. Let's get that one-on-one. Okay, sent the note. So we get you. Okay, so we get y'all ready. Okay, all right. So I want to make sure I answer these questions. It says, what is the minimum amount needed to invest for a first time consider economy extended stay? That is a great question. So make sure you sign up for Vestor, because there's an economy hotel that's actually going to be coming up. It's so funny that you mentioned it. And that minimum amount is $10,000 for that particular deal. So typically hotels, the minimum amount is about 25 to 50,000, and that's on the low end, like the real low end. But I would say 10 to 25,000. And that's still on the lower end. I wouldn't do anything, because there are deals out there now where you can come in at 25. So if you make sure the numbers look right. It's a way that you can get started. If you can work with a financial advisor, maybe you could pull from your retirement. So yeah, so that would be a good start. It says, which management company is it? Can you please share the name for? Oh my goodness. So that is a whole nother course on itself on finding a management company. Okay. Finding a management company is like finding a nanny for your child or finding a partner, because you're gonna have to deal with these people and they can really make or break your hotel. Like seriously. Yeah, so the 3 biggest mistakes first time hotel owners make, they don't listen to the experts, they pick the wrong management company or operator, or they overanalyze. So that's why my thing is I want to educate you as much as possible so that when y'all get into this space, y'all won't make that many mistakes. And the people who listen, they're doing well. Some of them on a second hotel. You know what I mean? So so we got another question. So as far as the management company, there's like over 100 management companies. So management companies, you select it based on the location, based on the brand, based on the type of and the type of hotel. Because let's say you find a management company and all they do is manage hotels in New York. That wouldn't work for Reno, Oklahoma, because it's 2 different markets and it's 2 different guests. Like they have to understand the guest mindset and they have to be able to manage, right? So if they only, so let's say you working with a management, let's say you decide to buy a full service hotel, but the only management companies you find, they only manage, Hampton Inns. That's not going to really work for you because for one, you get approved by the operator, and then two, um, would they really be able to manage a full service if they only did, limited service? Because it's two different guests, the budgets are larger on full service because you got the meeting space, you got the food and beverage, whereas limited service and economy, the budgets are a lot smaller because they don't have that many expenses or income streams coming in. It says, would you mind briefly touching on how a capital stack works and what's the difference in your vetting process from the first versus the second? Y'all got some good questions. Okay. Okay. So a capital stack is your debt and equity. I don't have it on the screen. I'll make sure Tommy talks about that tomorrow a little bit. Okay. So a capital stack is your debt and equity. So it is I'll simplify it like buying a house. You have your equity, your down payment, and then a loan. That is a capital stack. The equity and the debt. When you get in more sophisticated asset classes like commercial real estate, loan is called debt. They don't call it a loan, they call it debt, right? So that's all it is. It's the equity and debt. So the capital stack, they want to understand where are you getting the loan from and where are you getting the equity from. So I'll give you a complicated equity stack. A complicated equity stack is where you'll have CPACE, which means like it helps with the energy loan. You're getting new market tax credits. You may be getting a grant. You may be getting a down payment. I mean, your friends and family may invest. A fund may invest. That will be a part of your equity stack. The debt stack means you could have a construction loan or a mezzanine loan, kind of like a bridge loan, and then your major loan. That's complicated. That's like your full service development. Y'all not, I really shouldn't say that. But y'all capital stack, y'all first time hotel owners, is just gonna be equity and debt. It's gonna be, you probably gonna do friends and family, meaning you gonna raise capital from people that you know, and you probably gonna get a loan from the SBA, which is the Small Business Association. They loan up to $5 million. Or maybe a local bank. Like y'all hotel's probably gonna be like $5 million or less. So y'all capital stack won't be as complicated. Like it's gonna be real simple. The biggest thing that y'all need, and I'll make sure Tommy talks about this more tomorrow, is the understanding like how you gonna get the down payment before you buy. And then of course the deposit is like 1% of whatever the purchase price. So I mean, if you buy in a hotel that's $3 million, then you probably have to put 30% down as a deposit. Right? So those are the things that you need to think about as far as costs, because you're going to need to put down 20 to 30% on the hotel as an equity or down payment. Okay, any recommendation on debt funding options for an international resort property? So international resorts are different. Every country is different. Like some countries, there's no lending. Everything is equity. Like everything is equity. So meaning if you want to buy $100 million hotel, you're gonna have to find a lot of different funds that's gonna work with you. Some companies like Turks and Caicos, when we did our investor retreat there 2 years ago, they had a lending company there that we met with. And so they would help with lending. And it sounded more like a hard money loan. But like I said, every country is different. So they focus more on equity. So I will focus more on equity than I would debt going international, because every country, and then the biggest thing is you need to understand how the country operates. So whatever country you're going to, you need to understand the municipalities. You need to understand, the local authorities, how it works, because every country is different. They're really funny. You got to know people. They may move slow. So two of my students, they're developing a property in Belize. That's where we're going. So they're developing a property in Belize. They bought land down there. They've developed relationships with the locals. They have a local realtor. They went through a platform to raise to raise the money. Well, they raised the money. They just used the platform to help with the documents. But they traveled there and they started building relationships. So it's more so everything is a relationship, but with international is really big. But they go down there a lot, so they're really like in there, like they really understand the Belizean, they understand the culture because they are like immersed in it, right? So they were able to really develop those relationships. And they're pretty much going to have to do like close to 100% in equity. So it's not, so again, like I said, it depends on each country. Like the Bahamas, from my understanding with the Bahamas, the only way if you can purchase land is you have to be a Bahamian or you have to lease it from you know what I mean, or the government. So so you need to understand the laws of the land. So that before you even understand the debt funding, I will understand the laws of the land first, because you may not be able to own it. Like you probably couldn't even get to step B because you're not from that country. And then who's gonna operate it? That's why I don't do international, because it's like who's gonna operate it. Is Vester SEC regulated? Yes, it is. We're a member of FINRA. The pro forma creation is no joke. No, ma'am, it's not. That's why we have Tommy the expert, and he gonna be up. I had to create a couple pro formas in my day, boo. It is no joke. And how complicated the hotel it is, the debt structure, DSCR, all that fun stuff. Yeah. Jamaica, yes, I'm familiar. Have lived on the island for almost 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. So if you understand how to deal with the locals and every the country, and I would look at the countries that's trying to bring investment there, like Belize is one, Turks and Caicos is another country that I know of that's really trying to bring, developers there to really develop it. So I would look at countries that want developers to come because they're helping with incentives. Another thing that I would do, I personally wouldn't, that's just me. I personally wouldn't develop a hotel because that's just me and my time. What I would do is buy a condo in a hotel and they manage it. They manage all that. We just split the profits. That's just me. Shelly, you may be like, nah, girl, I want to develop my own hotel. This is what I want. It's gonna be the Shelly Hotel, and we're gonna walk in and it's gonna smell like flowers, and we're gonna have this experience, and you're gonna ride in on the boat. Hey, that's what you gotta do. So you say, but that's not me. That's too much. I'm not that creative. I'm like, I can't do that. So I got these brands. I just can't think. To me, somebody saying, hey, which color do you want in the wall? That's too stressful. That's a lot of work for me. My brain doesn't operate like that. So, yeah, but it's to each his own. Says Jamaica is very investor friendly, 5 million in international funding coming to Jamaica. See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. You have to understand the markets. Every country is doing something different, and they want developers to come in to develop, right? And you want to get in early, right? You want to be able to get in early. No, but this is good. Y'all ask some really, really, really good questions. I am so proud of you. I think, okay, I put my email address for um those who wanted the one-on-one sessions. Because I'm only taking a few because I'm about to go on tour. So I won't be having time for one-on-ones. So I want to make sure y'all get my time. So definitely get y'all signed up so y'all could be ready to go. Had another one-on-one student. She's underwriting like crazy, looking for deals, taught her how to pitch. That's included with the one-on-one. I teach you how to pitch to raise capital. Connect, you'll get access to my network. And apparently being a part of, when you let folks, and a lot of people know when you've worked with me because they can tell the difference and tell that you're more prepared. So I'm excited about tomorrow. What about finance and bed and breakfast? I will go look at the SBA. Look at SBA loan or wherever the bed and breakfast is. I don't know if you can do a 15-person in. That sounds like a boutique hotel. That sounds pretty big. I would I would look at the local bank in that area and see if they finance hotels as well. So tomorrow we are so tomorrow at 7 p.m., same Zoom link. We're gonna work with Tommy for my folks who want to analyze deal. We're gonna analyze some deals. He's gonna walk us through how to find a hotel. So even for the folks who want to be passive investors, I told him to talk about that. He's gonna talk about, for the folks that want to be passive investors. So we got you. Okay. So okay, let's read in the comments. It says, Davonne, thank you for bringing us all together. I would like to stay in context since we have similar goals. Yes, please do. Zach, can you put the dashboard link in there? So join our Facebook group if you haven't. Definitely, that's a good community to be a part of. So that way you all can stay connected with like-minded individuals. The one-on-one is more even higher. Thank you, Ty, for putting your email address in there. I love it with the IG. Yes, stay connected. This is all about. So we got another question. It's if any hotel wasn't as you expected and isn't making a profit, then what's your extra strategy for a fast exit? So a fast exit would be to sell it. That's one. Another exit would be to bring in, if you can't sell it, try to bring in a management company, or bring in, oh, I never heard of Intelli Resorts. It must be full service or resort. Probably keep asking full service. Another thing that you could do to turn around, bringing in a consultant, because sometimes they look at things. That's what we did with our hotels. We brought in someone who's better than us, and they came in and turned it around. And they actually, like Tommy, he works in a management company, so he was able to be like, nah, y'all can't do that. That's not how it works. What y'all doing? You know what I mean? So that's how you come in and so you bring somebody in, because sometimes when you bring somebody in with a new set of eyes, they just look at things differently. Um, so oh, thanks, Zacchaeus. So that would be the answer as far as like what's the strategy for a fast exit: to sell, change management companies, or bring in like an asset manager or a consultant to help turn it around. So this was great. Oh my gosh, this was like amazing. You definitely will get a replay. I will contact all the folks, or somebody from my team will contact Paul to do the one-on-one so we can get this on and popping. Okay, we got another question. It says, can you use franchisor programs to improve your cost basis? For instance, this is a really, I really want to answer. This is a really good question. It says, can you use franchisor programs to improve your cost basis? For instance, Marriott's Bridging the Gap program and receiving key money upfront to gain an advantage on pricing. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't mention this. So anything with the incentive programs is for development or conversion. So if you're just buying a Fairfield, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the Bridging the Gap program. That's for developers. Brands make money by net unit growth, meaning they're adding hotels to their portfolio. So if you just buying a Wyndham, Amina, on the other hand, and her team in the quantity of the AJ Investment, their team, they're buying a Holiday Inn and converting it to a Wyndham. They were able to get key money and incentives of the Wyndham's Bold program, which stands for Black Owners Lodging Developers. They were able to take advantage of it because they were converting a Holiday Inn to a Wyndham. They don't, and a lot of the brands, depending on what's going on, they don't give you, oh, hey, you shouldn't know you serious. They don't give you the key money up front. So what they'll do is, by you being a part of the program, that helps with by you getting approved, that helps with the brand. I mean, it helps with the lender that you got approved, but sometimes they don't give the key money up front. They'll let you can that's a part of your capital stack, that you got a certain amount of key money. And not all the times you get key money. Maybe you don't want key money. Maybe you want a reduction on fees along the way. Right. So, like I say, Marriott's Bridging the Gap, if you can convert or buy, same thing with any brand, the Choice, Emerging Markets, the Wyndham Bold, or Women on the Room, Red Roof has She program for women. So all of those different things. So that was a good question. I want to make sure I answer it. I will see y'all tomorrow. I think I saw Danny and Ty. I think I got y'all answers, y'all questions answered. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was great. I hope you all enjoy it. I hope to see you all tomorrow. Can we have my email address? Oh, you all should have received emails from me. This is you'll get the here, I put it in the chat. But everybody, should receive the replay, and it'll come from hello at Davonne Group. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I hope you all had a great time tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you found out about me, and I'm glad that you joined me. And so I will see you all tomorrow. Like I said, we're gonna have a special guest. We're gonna have Tommy Byer, and he's gonna talk about how to find a hotel. Like I say, he's about how to find a hotel and how to analyze it. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and you all have a great night. Thank you.
They're gone.
Okay.
What's your favorite one? What?